This is the title of the book, The Wounded Womb. And why did I use that symbol? Because this is what is known as an archetypal symbol. And the archetypal symbol immediately puts you into that the mind. And if the archetypal symbol is damaged, it is symbolic of the damage having been done to the feminine principle. Next. The name of this part here is part 2, the psychopolitical pathologies of feminism in the end times. Next. This is who we give honor, praises to. We call her by many names. This is the true, celestial, dark matter womb through which all intelligent life must pass in order to go through the evolutionary process that God itself initiated for itself. The Creator is about dealing with finding itself out. See, you got a job. Every time you learn, and the more you learn, the more the Creator learns. The Creator is dumb as bricks. Why is that? Because it has all knowledge. Anything that is all knowledge, all everything, all omniscient, don't know itself because it is all that and a bag of chips. And you have to understand that concept. Being all, you cannot know yourself because there are no parameters by which to study yourself. But in that understanding, you, instead of creating, you can't create outside of yourself because you're the creator. How can you create something outside of yourself? You don't create outside of yourself. The Creator contracts upon itself. The Creator essentially withdraws, like the Kemites know that all creation is a process of negation. See, the secret is you can't create outside the Creator. Creating means doing something outside of the bracket or the parameters of that which is omniscient. That's insane. But your ancestors, your Kemetic ancestors, knew that there was no creation outside of the Creator. All creation was done through the 10% detraction or the subtraction of the Creator by 10% from itself. That's when the circle now has 10% out of it, and that 10% slice is the vagina. That is the place where consciousness now has a chance to actually see and know itself. Because if it is all-knowing, it can't know itself. It is just all-knowing. What can it study of itself? Does it stop and say, okay, I know this piece from that piece? The only way it can do that is if it separates from itself. And it did. It came back 10% from itself. And what you call the day of Brahma, which is like 1 and the 0 stretched from here all the way to the back end of Flatbush Avenue. And what you're looking at right now is the womb, which is that 10% of the circle that the Creator detracted on as all negation. And we are now going to understand why it is that this society needs women to act like men. Because if the feminine principle is taken out of her power, both of us are out of our power. And you control the one by controlling the other. And feminism did it real slick too, because it was introduced during the time when black people, and you have to look at the fact that we were played religiously, we were played politically, we were played. Everything is an illusion, it's bullshit. Religion is bullshit. Spirituality is everything. And if you don't understand that, know that everything that you have now come to understand about yourself has been based upon you becoming part of the social cattle necessary to walk the line and to maintain the engine that they have created as society. Right now, we are about to decloak it. We are pulling, we are looking at the skirts, we are yanking the curtain from the wizard like we did in part 1. We have now let you know that that was just a teeny touch, a scratch on the surface of Islam. The science, of course, every one of the detractors and all of the intellects are going to be coming after me wholesale. But I'm ready. You know I love a good intellectual fight. When you're ready, tell me I was wrong. Show me the statistics. Show me how you showed anybody else that I was wrong about what I showed in part 1. And show me that I'm wrong about part 2. About that woman having both her eyes being yellow, representative of the moon. Okay. And this has caused a degeneration in our thinking and our behavior towards one another as men and women. If we are to resurrect equilibrium between the sexes in our communities, we must come to grips with the fact that we are not equal, similar, or in competition with one another. And since this lecture is dedicated to the wounded womb, I will say that to give proper honor and respect to the true feminine principle of the Creator, we must first become refamiliarized with the quintessential aspects of its design and nature as it is expressed in equilibrium with the masculine principle of God, as the Creator. In the wounded womb, I gave the elaborately intricate variables that constitute the quintessential nature of the feminine principles of the Creator as the metaphysical counterbalance to the masculine. In the sacred dynamics of gender, both male and female are but two parts of the whole, and nothing from the subatomic to the macrocosmic can exist without the harmonious interplay of the two. Each gender polarity is dependent upon the other. In each, in fact, is actually the other, vibrating at opposite ends of the pole from one another. The half that is male or masculine is no greater or lesser in importance or power than the other, but the positions they occupy on the cosmic grid of life within the dynamics of the fourth hermetic principle of polarity dictate that they play opposite roles. We must play opposite roles for there to be equilibrium. We cannot be equal. Suppressing this basic law of organic behaviorism as it relates to polarity and equilibrium has been at the root of contemporary gender controversies for the last 45 years since the introduction of Amazonian feminism. Under Western cultural dynamics, hyper-industrialization, commercialization, and consumerism have forced us to devolve into functionaries of a hive imperative to serve the goddess of vanity and materialism. I say that we all now serve the goddess of vanity, materialism, and egocentrism, especially to those feminists who believe that spirituality is a patriarchal energy responsible for the deterioration and ultimate destruction of our times. To the goddesses who teach that we need to return to a matriarchal mindset in society, I say we were never out of a matriarchy. Sisters in the conscious community seem to forget that we are in the age of Kali, a side of the mother principle that ain't nothing about nurturing but about destroying, about tearing down to make way for the new. But in every case, the mother aspect of the goddess carries out the dictates of the invisible father, initiator, creator principle. So, when she is all warm and fuzzy and nurturing, the active part of Godhead is manifesting its creative, building nature within her, which she ultimately expresses as fertility, beauty, abundance. But, as participants in time, all life adheres to the cycles of birth, life, and death, each of which is expressed or materially manifested through the realms of the Earth Mother Goddess principle. So, it is Kali's Mother Goddess energy creating or manifesting your stress, your insanity, disease, and suffering at this time, ladies, not the brothers. For she is the goddess of hypermaterialism and death consciousness. It is under her influence to fulfill the mandate of the end times that wars, social strife, the breakdown of relationships, and social chaos came into being to make way for the new coming time. She is Sekhmet. And for those of you who follow Kemetic philosophy, see if the sisters in the goddess community and the black undercover feminist community stop blaming and stop thinking about the fact that we are in Kali's time and Sekhmet's time, they will know that it is that feminine energy that is being behind it, giving birth to the end times. And whoever it is that needs to play the roles based upon how Mama is dictating is going to do it. And if you know the story of Sekhmet, after she ran haywire, it was Amen-Ra who said, chill! That's enough. You cleaned house enough, Mama. And then he switched her around, changed her turn, gave her a whole new attitude, gave her a new makeover, made her into Heteru.